Hi guys, welcome back to Vintage Van Life. Now, things have gotten a bit bad for me. To cut it short, I have coronavirus. After however long it's been, well, tail end of 2019, I've managed not to catch it, and all those months working in retail and serving my community, doing driving and everything, didn't manage to get it, but I got it now. This is day 4 of my 10-day isolation, and it doesn't really sound like I'm ill. So I did record some footage a couple of days ago when I was really feeling the symptoms, but I decided to delete that footage because I looked horrific, but I can reenact it a little bit for you now. So yeah, I was not in a very good way at all. I did have the kind of typical symptoms: chest pains, cough, blocked nose, change of taste, all of that. But after spending 3 days in bed, I seem to have kind of bounced back. But obviously I still have all this time to self-isolate, so 6 days left. I'm not legally allowed to leave the property, so I'm in my camper van rather than going into my aunt's house because I don't want to infect them. Luckily I have a kind of shed thing that I have access to that has a bathroom and shower, although that needs some attention. But basically I thought I could try and carry on as best I can with the camper. Occasionally I do get a bit tired and short on breath, but we just have to see how things go. I think now that I'm a lot more awake and I'm not sleeping all the time, but I have to stay here, I'm just hoping I don't get cabin fever. So the camper itself is not in a very good state either. It's actually broken down, and yet again I need a haircut. Oh. So when I was driving back from the beach with my friends, this was before I got ill, they were in the car, but me and Pete were in here. And I've been driving this around for the last 2 months without any problems. We're climbing up a hill that I'd driven 1,000,000 times, and then suddenly it conked out on me, and this is the reason why. The infamous distributor. Right, so if I unclip the side, if I pop this off here, so what I actually found was, I know the rotor arm is off at the moment. I did that so I could see inside when it broke down, but this wire here has actually burnt out completely, and the points too also seem to be very burnt out, so I have a plan. When it comes to old vehicles, and I've had my fair share of them, when it's a petrol engine, there's a conversion you can do that eliminates a whole multitude of problems when it comes to old analog ignition systems, and it's replacing the points with something called electronic ignition. Now this is something that I had done with various of my vehicles in the past, including my 1968 Morris Minor and my 1958 BSA Bantam. So they used to constantly get ignition problems, particularly the BSA. And after I converted them to electronic ignition, I never once had a failure to do with anything to do with the ignition. It just made them super reliable. It gave them a much better performance, and it actually decreased the fuel consumption too. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, particularly if you're going to be using the vehicle a lot like I am this one. So I'm actually going to be taking the distributor out, and I'm going to be posting it to a friend of mine who said he's got all the bits that he needs to actually convert it to electronic ignition, post it back, and then I fit it and hopefully all will be fine. The only trouble is I can't go to a post office for 6 days because I'm in isolation. I don't think cabin fever's kicking in. Maybe it is. So the other thing that could do with doing is getting the vehicle on level ground as much as I can. So when it got towed up here by my friend Rachel with these ropes that snapped multiple times, this is parked on a slant, so it's actually tilting that way, and it certainly makes sleeping in the bed interesting because you're constantly pushed against the wall. But for the last 3 days I've just been too ill to even do anything except lie down and wish that it was on level ground. So something Pete got me for my birthday is these plastic chocks. So these chocks are a brilliant idea. They're very simple. If you're parked on a hill or on a slant, you put them under the appropriate tyres, drive up on them, and you lever the vehicle off as best you can. But with a vehicle that isn't functioning, I'm going to have to improvise. But luckily this has something that modern vehicles don't have, and that is a crank handle. So when I was an apprentice mechanic, I was told by the old boy John, these are good for starting cars and stopping fights. Okay, so the chocks are in place. Handbrake is off and I've got it in first gear. And now I crank it until it gets up to the top. This could be hard work. Okay, so the distributor is off. These are actually the points themselves, where my thumb is going up and down. I'm sure most of you know this already, but these are called the breaker points, and when the engine is running, these will be opening and closing at great speed continuously, and it is an area that tends to go wrong. So electronic ignition is a very simple conversion. All it does is replace this moving analog part with a part that does this job electrically, so it doesn't require moving parts like this that tend to go wrong. And my experience with the old points, it's always a time bomb before they go wrong. So this will be upgraded to electronic ignition, and hopefully that will be the end of ignition problems. I'm just grilling some bacon and it's not gone unnoticed by the famous Bertie. I want to pet you more than anything, but I'm ill. Nice bacon sandwich I've made on this beautiful Welsh day. It's dark outside now. It's 9:15. Guess the summer is kind of coming to a close now, but I can't sleep anymore. I spent 3 days asleep and I'm kind of getting agitated now. Want to be more practical, so tomorrow I'm going to try and do some bits and pieces in here if I can, but still got 6 days left of my isolation. I don't really have any symptoms apart from occasionally, very occasionally I cough, but really I feel alright. I've got my energy levels back. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. Good morning everyone. I've got my cup of tea. I'm feeling like miles better. I don't want to tempt fate, but I would go as far as to say I'm now symptom free, but I still have to isolate for another 5 days. So I'm going to try and be a bit more practical today, but I think I'm going a bit crazy. I just want to go to the beach, despite the rain. Okay, welcome to my vintage kitchen. So we are going to be doing some boiled eggs from locally sourced farm eggs, so they are not supermarket ones, so they're particularly nice. The hot water from my kettle this morning from my cup of tea has been transferred over to this beautiful vintage enamel pot, of which I shall now ignite the gas, and then once it is boiling I can start to boil my eggs. Okay, so water is boiling. Time to put my eggs in the water. One. I'm going to have two. Doing this with one hand is tricky. 2. 5 minutes later, I am officially a chef. I don't actually own an egg cup at the moment, but that won't stop me. See, there's a reason the British won the war. The ability to improvise. Look at that. I don't know where he keeps finding them. Bertie keeps eating apples. So I thought you guys might like to see my kind of other living situation apart from the van, which is this old summer house that was constructed, I don't know, in the 80s or something. Certainly judging by the interior of my toilet here. It's a nice avocado green, so very stylish. Eesh. So there's quite a lot of stuff in here that belongs to me, that's for the camper or going home or whatever. So to get hot water in this building is quite fun actually. So there's a gas cylinder outside, and in here we've got this boiler. I did read the instructions, but essentially what you do, you turn the gas on and get the pilot light going. You have to hold it there because it goes out sometimes. So you have to hold it for a few moments, and then when you let go, there we go, and then turn that to on. And then when I put the hot tap on, that's when the magic happens. How cool is that? So got nice hot water coming out the tap here, and this kind of works automatically, so when I turn it off. Okay, so there is actually a shower as well, which I'm going to have to use because at the moment, whilst I'm isolating to keep my family safe, I'm not going in the house. So this stuff is not mine, but this stuff is. That's my diesel heater. But if we go through this door, there's something rather unexpected in here. A sauna. How cool is this? Nice wooden cladding. In here is the unit that makes the sauna work. I haven't tried it, but maybe I could get it running from my aunt as a kind of thank you. But in here is a somewhat archaic shower. Yeah, the camera probably won't pick it up, but there's spider webs just everywhere. And this is the shower. So, needs a bit of a clean, I think. Even this shower head looks old-fashioned. It's kind of very 70s, 80s. It looks like something out of the film Logan's Run. Right, let's give this a go. Whoa! Okay, that has definitely split. Whoa! I think there might be air in the system. Cold, warm, warm. Oh, it's actually coming through quite warm. I guess this could work. Okay, so I've been scrubbing the shower out and giving it a good clean, but I have discovered that it's dripping through the ceiling. So I think the pipe work has a leak in it, possibly caused by frost in the past at some point, but still. I'm going to attempt to actually have a shower in here. Could be the first person to do this in a long time. That was quite possibly the worst shower I've ever had in my life. The water temperature was fluctuating continuously. I've never been burnt and frozen repeatedly in such a short space of time in my entire life. That shower needs work. Day 6 of my self-isolation. I want to get on with insulating the roof here, but to cut the shapes I need to kind of lie the insulation out on the grass, but at the moment the grass is too wet to do that. And I'm just getting a bit agitated and bored. Well, it seems today hasn't been a complete waste of time, for I have finally gotten around to insulating the ceiling. My time in isolation hasn't been a complete waste because I have learned how to play this. Well, my isolation is nearly up, and it wasn't quite as bad as I feared it might be. I thought maybe I'd go a little bit crazy. So you haven't felt the effects of cabin fever at all? No, honestly, I feel alright. So you definitely feel alright then? No side effects of being trapped in here for 10 days continuously? Well, there were times when I thought maybe I was going a little bit crazy, but I think I'm alright, to be honest with you. Well, that's good.